I'm not down to get raw today, Lyndsay.
You're what?
I'm not down to get raw today.
Like
sushi,
raw, like sushi raw?
No, sushi is amazing. First of all, fucking amazing.
Oh my god, what I would do for a fucking California roll right now?
No, forget the California roll. We're talking about a dragon roll with the eel and the little. What's that thing they put on top? What kind of?
Oh, it looks like eggs.
Yes.
It's like crunchy eggs.
Yes, and
it sounds really gross.
And it's orange. Sometimes I think it's like Nemo's caviar. You know, Nemo, the Disney movie Nemo. I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm not down to get raw today. That's to be honest with you. And first of all, I'm terrified of doing this episode.
Okay.
I'm just throwing that out there to everybody. It's not even a disclaimer. It is what it is.
No, I mean, it's a terrifying topic.
It is terrifying. Oh my gosh. Is it terrifying? Not for the guy.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, this is what we've been talking about. Like, we've kind of been avoiding this topic.
Okay. You know what? Let's clear the air right now.
Okay.
I've been avoiding the topic. This is like our second time trying to do this, and we're just getting a little bit raw with everybody right now.
Wow, second?
Yeah, this is our okay, fine, third. Maybe our fourth.
I feel like it's the fourth time.
It is.
And I finally got you in here, and you're like, okay, fuck, let's do this shit.
Yeah, because I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do it like a Band-Aid. I'm just going to pull it out real quick, and just understand...
I'm so stoked fucking right now
that this is going to happen. I'm not.
It is.
100% full disclosure, I am not ready for this episode, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not. I'm really not. I'm over here pretending that I am. But truthfully, deep down, I'm not. I'm going to tell you why. Because we're talking what?
About anal sex.
Yes. I could try to say drum roll, please, or something.
There's no drum roll for an anal sex. It's a difficult topic. It's super taboo, and it smells like poo.
Yeah, that's actually really good.
Thank you.
I know you didn't come up with that by yourself, did you?
Just now.
Okay, good, because that was actually pretty darn good.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
I mean, this is what I do here.
I feel like I'm not myself in this episode right now because I'm terrified. Because I've had more of this than I think you've had in the past, 25 years of your life that you've been living?
Oh my god, I love that you think I'm 25. Oh wait, ew, that would mean that I've been having sex since I was 1. Okay.
We're not going to get through it.
No, you are actually more knowledgeable about this particular topic than I am.
Experience? I wouldn't say knowledgeable. I would say maybe experience.
I'm more knowledgeable, you're more experienced.
Yeah, the resume here when it comes down to anal sex is I have the experience. You may have the job criteria, like you went to school for it, like you write down, I understand how the anal this works and this works.
This is a banana. This is how you put a condom on.
This is a bead. And this is many lines of a bead. And this is how it works. I saw, I saw one of those this past week and I was like, I think that's what it's used for.
Anal beads?
Yes.
Yeah.
And when I mentioned it to you earlier before and you're like, oh yeah, anal beads. I'm like, yeah, that thing.
Yeah.
It looks like a snake with little beads on it. I'm going to stop real quick. But point is, I have the experience, so I didn't go to school for this, but I have the experience when it comes to all this stuff. I would say so.
But, I mean, the biggest question is, are you an anal bead? This is your Almost There podcast.
No. Okay, first of all, let's just clear the air here. I'm not down to talk about anal beads at this point. We're way too early in this point in this episode.
Take a deep breath, man.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm terrified.
No,
I'm not gonna lie.
So,
I'm excited, but I'm terrified to talk about it because
totally.
I know you again are gonna give me questions about my experience with anal sex and with going through it and what in the butt kind of moments and
what in the butt.
Yes, you've never heard that expression before.
No.
Okay. Well, you've heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. At marker, what in the butt?
Could you please put a timestamp on that? Thank you.
You're welcome.
What in the butt? That is freaking amazing. Because I already titled this episode, and I think you just trump ew. I don't like that word.
All right. Off the soapbox. Come on. In your hand. Come on.
I wasn't even on it.
Well, you got on it for a minute.
I mean, that dude fucked up that word for everybody.
I'm getting her hand, folks. We're bringing it down,
Oh my
and
God.
she's down. Cool.
Okay, and we're done.
And we're done. Okay, so guys, what's up? I'm John Ramirez.
And I am Lyndsay Soprano.
And this is your Almost Bare podcast.
Oh, let's get down and dirty. And God, John, I like to steer the wheel so much because that's just me, but I feel like I need you to kind of like fucking take it away, baby. Take it away. And then I'm going to go from there. You're leading this train. People, listeners, this is my public service announcement. I am giving him the wheel to start this podcast and kind of guide where it's going to go, at least in the beginning, and then we'll see how much I can derail it.
So I'm the conductor. Welcome aboard, everybody. This is a guide to all things, a guide, once again, for all things anal sex, including positions, toys, and more.
Oh my God.
Boy, am I excited for this. All right, so a little disclaimer again. This is like my fourth disclaimer of this entire podcast. Again, I have the experience with this because, you know what? Me and my fiance, well, now she's my wife at the time, my fiance back then, we did anal sex before actually doing the whole intercourse thing.
The vaginal penetration.
There we go. That's
for the learners out there.
Yes, and
Jesus, John. Fuck.
And just this little guide, whether you're a beginner or a seasoned butt enthusiast, we want you to hear about this. God knows why at this point, because that's how I feel is, oh my gosh, this is... Okay, anyway, back to steering this thing. All right, so anal sex. My experience with anal sex was actually quite pleasant. I'm not going to lie to you.
Okay.
I actually enjoyed anal sex when me and my fiance at the time, now my wife, engaged in it. We haven't done anal sex since getting married.
So, like, 4 weeks ago.
Yes, because vaginal sex is phenomenal. If you haven't done it, folks, oh my gosh, it's a thing. Okay. It's a thing.
You are so cute. God, I love you. Unreal. I don't know. Maybe I should steer this ship. What do you guys think?
No. We're going good. We're chugging along. Okay, so when it comes down to anal sex, biggest thing that I gotta tell you is, oh man. You take the wheel. Take the wheel.
Yeah.
Take the wheel.
Jesus takes the wheel.
At this point, Jesus, yes, God, please take this wheel. Can we invoke God in this moment? Please, Lord.
I mean, I don't know who the fuck sings that Jesus Take the Wheel song. Carrie Underwood?
I think so, yes.
Poor girl, we'll tag you in this
because
episode.
I know that the Lord is looking down upon this entire podcast at this point and like, oh God.
I don't think that the Lord is looking down at all. So, but
well, okay, maybe he's with us. He's probably with us at this moment. Anyway, we're getting off topic here.
God, totally off topic. Yeah, anyway, but it's okay.
Anyway, here's the wheel. Go for it.
Okay, so here we are, folks. I am not a proponent of... I have not experienced a ton of anal sex. My ex-husband... as per earlier episodes, is fairly well endowed, and it was just a challenge for us, and it wasn't a challenge that I was willing to totally accept. But when we did it, we were both hammered out of our minds.
Okay, I wasn't, and me and my wife weren't.
Right.
So just giving you a heads up, just for everybody, that the distinguished is we were like, hey, we're doing this.
Wait, am I not distinguished? Is that what's happening?
No. I'm talking about like just distinguishing between both. I like how you're laughing.
I got it.
Okay, cool.
I'm fucking with you.
Okay, cool.
Because this is what I do here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's so easy, guys, isn't it? I mean, it's just like unbelievable how easy it is.
Proceed, please.
God, I love you. So, he's got a big old Johnson, and it was tough for me to take up the rear.
Mr. Johnson! Sorry, I just had to do that.
And it wasn't something that, like, we ever planned on doing. We didn't really talk about it. I mean, at least from my memory. But we would get drunk, and then there would be, like, a random occasion where it would be like, sure, okay,
yeah,
thanks.
How did that go? It was like, hey, you want to just in the butt tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would just be like, because he and I, even though he's well endowed, like, we had a pretty good sex life. I mean, in the beginning, it was fucking awesome. And then, as in most marriages and relationships and turmoil and all the happy horse shit that happens, it starts to kind of decline. And I don't wish that to be the case for every marriage and every relationship. I certainly hope that ends up not being the case with you and Kari. But,
same.
You know, yeah. Ding. We need like a bell. No, we don't need a bell.
No, please.
No bell.
No bell.
No bell. Mm-mm. But it was just one of those things where, like, fingers were okay and, like, licking was okay. But, like, oh, my God. The next day, 2 weeks. I mean, it was, like, 2 weeks of time where it hurt to poop so bad for so long. And it got to the point, and I know it sounds super gross, but, guys, we're talking about putting something in your butt. Like, poop is part of it. And it's such an interesting topic because, like, it's such a gross thing, but it also can not be gross. And one of the things that's happened with me actually researching and, like, I actually read an entire book about anal sex this past week. And
you're welcome.
Yeah, thanks to you.
That was actually a gift, guys. I actually gifted her that.
Yeah, he's the gift that just keeps on giving, isn't he? So he gives me this book called Tickle My Tush. Okay. And
this is a shameless plug, by the way. Who's the author on this?
Dr. Sadie Allison.
Dr. Sadie, this is a shameless plug. We expect a little bit of it. And I'm just kidding. Continue.
No, we're going to tag and do the whole thing.
Oh, yeah, we're doing it. Okay.
Oh, for
sure. Okay.
Well, let's bring her into my tush. Well, you know? I mean, she wants everybody to be tickled.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Might as well tickle hers. So, mild to wild anal play adventures for everybody.
Mild to wild.
Mild to wild, right? So, I don't know what mild anal sex is about, but because I feel like everything is just wild when it comes to your butthole. But it's so interesting because I had to, in preparing for this episode, I had to kind of like, oh my God, like I haven't had anal sex with my ex-husband for a very long time. Like I don't even remember the last time he and I did that. And since then, nothing. Like no anal play whatsoever. And after reading this book, I'm actually much more open-minded about it. I'm not as grossed out about it. Not that I was really grossed out about it, because it's just not who I am. Like, I'm pretty open, you know, open doors over here. But it was just something that, like, I was struggling with having this conversation because I don't have the experience from a positive, healthy anal sex perspective. My perspective comes from drunk anal sex. Wow. That sounds like a great idea, Lyndsay. Right? No. Are you listening to me?
I am.
I think John just blacked out for a second, folks.
Because
that's my move.
I guess my experience with anal sex, and full disclosure, again, this is like my fifth or what, I don't really care at this
80th
point.
80th disclosure.
Yes. Kari and I had to live together because before marriage, not against our own will, we ultimately obviously made the choice, but thanks to immigration processes, again, she's from Mexico, I'm from here, all that stuff. If you don't hear podcast 3. The whole point of it is...
Is it 3?
I think it's 3. It's one of them. Anyway,
I mean, it's one of them before this one.
Thank you for sticking along for those who've heard the whole story.
Thank you.
So immigration, we lived together, and there was nights where we were just hot and heavy, and we for everything, because we're both Catholics. And again, if you didn't hear my whole Catholic thing of all that stuff, hear a previous podcast. Point is, we decided to do anal sex because we didn't want to do vaginal sex. We wanted to save vaginal sex for marriage, actual marriage. So we were like, man, like it was just, I'm getting like thinking about it, and I'm like, like we actually went through everything to not do vaginal, and instead we did anal sex. We experimented with anal sex.
Yeah, that's crazy to me.
Instead of vaginal at that point. And because, again, you know, living together, and it's just so hard.
No pun intended.
No, very pun intended. It's just hard. It really is. You try living with someone that you're going to marry, and you're Christian, meaning that you don't want to have sex before marriage. I know for maybe some of you understand that, some of you don't. I'm not saying, you know, just hear me out. It was just for my own life, it was very hard, which is why in this moment, it's hard for me to talk about it because I'm not completely proud of it, but I'm not going to be like, oh, I regret that, you know, like, because it still was part of our life of like, oh, this is what we ended up having to do. And look how extreme we went to just waiting in terms of having vaginal sex and all that. Again, it may not make sense for us. It kind of does for a lot of you listeners, and even you, Lyndsay, you may not understand that. But when we experimented with anal sex, it was actually like a great release. not just in terms of what you're thinking.
I'm sorry, just looking at your face while you said that just made the whole statement
because
fantastic.
I'm thinking of those moments where we had, anal sex, and it was actually quite awesome. And,
like, did she come?
I believe so. I don't.
Oh, wow.
I didn't ask her. I didn't.
I think that you should.
I'm pretty sure she did, because she really did. She enjoyed it, from what I come to understand. Because when I asked her, "Hey, do you like it?" She's like, "Yeah."
Okay, well, liking